Hello. The reason I'm making this kind of serious video today because I've never had an interest, and I'm ashamed to say, never had an interest in politics because it was all over my head. I didn't really understand the concepts. I didn't understand anything from not having much of an education at school by my choice. And there wasn't a lot available, and a lot of girls and women and wives voted like the father or the husband did, and it was a generational thing. And you wouldn't understand, and I'm ashamed to say I did the same thing. And my dad would even tell me how to mark the ballot paper, and he would cast his vote, and there'd be, I would vote, Mum would vote, and my sisters would vote. But I started seeing Jeremy Rockcliffe, on boards, and then I heard a lot of buzz about him and what he was doing to Tasmania, and apparently he wasn't doing a great job. He didn't have a vested interest in Tasmania, and that he was okaying salmon farms, and he was right behind the, now I can't think of the name of it, but to send power to the mainland, and that he had a lot of beliefs that were ego-driven, it seems, and that Tasmanians were being a bit conned by him, and I didn't understand any of this, and there's a lot more obviously, but I can't think. And I didn't understand until a friend of mine ran, and it was a bit of a joke, with a bit of a two-bit campaign, and everyone vote for Garbo. He's a good guy, and he knows his stuff, and he's passionate about Tasmania. He's grown up in Tasmania. He's run barefoot up the river flats. He's always come from a fishing family, and an honest family. And I went to school with Garbo, and he was always good for a yarn. He was always a good bloke. I think Garbo's a good bloke. And because I was interested in him as a person and what he was doing, I started following his stories. And then they started to make sense. And then I see that he was starting to ask the questions. And people were becoming nervous. And when he first started his campaign, they tried to get rid of Garbo. They tried to smear his name. And they made it hard for him. And they must have been threatened. And I think they have a right to be threatened, because Garbo is asking the questions. He's being a voice for people like me who doesn't really truly understand anything other than they don't want to be ripped off, that they want the best outcome for this state. And the other thing is that he's such a positive person with great integrity. He's not someone, as he says, and I can vouch for this knowing him, that he wouldn't do it for money. It would be the last thing on his mind. And that's so very different to so many politicians with their, with their lifestyles. But anyway, I'm going to. This is not to, vote one Garbo. This is just have a look around like me. Maybe you want to vote for someone else, but maybe it's time to stop being that generational woman. And I'm sorry if I'm offending people that just went along and kept the peace in the family, because I did. Anyway, I'm enjoying a great day here, and I'll see you again. Bye.